Last time on Dragon Ball Super. In episode 126 of Dragon Ball Super, 17 fends off God of Destruction Toppo. Frieza then intervenes, but Jiren, Goku, and Vegeta's fight intervenes to them, knocking Frieza and 17 out of the fight. This is when Jiren decides to share his opponents with Toppo, and we get God of Destruction Toppo versus Vegeta. Now, first off, I want to talk about 17 and how badass he has been in this tournament. Like, he's been a major asset to the Universe 17, and in this episode, he is still showing how tactical of a fighter he is. As carryover from last episode, 17 is just trying different tactics to get through Toppo's defenses to try to wear out the time of the tournament. And in this instance, he notices that Toppo is just, grinding tunnels through these mountains, and 17's like, oh, I can use this to my advantage to kind of slow this guy down a little bit. And, my universal level attacks aren't working, so maybe rocks will. So he crumbles a mountain on top of Toppo. Of course that doesn't work, but you gotta give 17 credit nonetheless. So Frieza comes in after being knocked out again from Toppo. In the last episode, he was knocked out from a God of Destruction blast, and then knocked the crap out of from Toppo. Gut punch, freaking skull crush. He gets hit with a rock from 17, but he gets back up like 30 seconds later and is actually able to stop Toppo with telekinesis. This is some pretty powerful telekinesis here, man. This is like Shao Tsu's telekinesis times
100 billion.
So it's pretty interesting seeing these guys just try to hold this guy off because they are no match for him. But I also liked how they, switched teams up with Jiren's attack getting in the way of Toppo 17 and Frieza, because we haven't seen a whole lot of that before. There's a lot of fights in this tournament going on at the same time. We haven't seen a whole lot of fights interfering with other fights, so that was kind of cool. And it was a good way to get Vegeta to fight Toppo here in knocking out 17 and Frieza. And we'll get to Frieza's being knocked out in a minute. So regarding the fight between Toppo and Vegeta, it's really cool. You got God of Destruction Toppo, and you have a powered up Vegeta. This is an epic battle here. What happens is Vegeta uses the Final Flash. I personally have a problem with the use of the Final Flash in this tournament. And not just the tournament, just the series in general. The Final Flash to me is, an epic attack, like an all-out energy attack, his signature move, so to speak. But when he uses it over and over, especially when it's reused animation, it takes just so much of the coolness and impact out of it. It's just, making things stale at this point. Like, he used it so many times in the Future Trunks arc that I just kind of get tired of it. And I just feel like it would have so much more impact if he didn't use it every single episode, But I liked the nice choreography in this fight with Toppo just getting the beat down on Vegeta, even though Vegeta is now powered up from where he was. Toppo, it just shows how much stronger Toppo has gotten too. Although I do wish it was a little bit more even of a fight. Like, speaking of the choreography, I love that part where Vegeta kicks Toppo's knee out, flips away. Great stuff there. And they have a nice back and forth here. Toppo's getting the beat down on Vegeta, and he's like, the reason why I'm getting the beat down on you is, I threw away all the unnecessary things so my mind can solely focus on survival, beating my opponents, and that's it. I'm not being held back by anything else, like justice. So Vegeta's like, no, holding on to these things is what gives me strength. It's similar to things that he said against Jiren when he powered up his blue form, but I feel like it's more of an expansion of what he said earlier, as opposed to a full-on rehash. Because it's in response to what Toppo was saying in throwing everything unnecessary out, but Vegeta's already tried that. He tried that when he became Majin Vegeta. He threw away, his ideals and his family and everything for power. And I feel like that's kind of his character progression here, is that no, he's not gonna do that anymore. He tried that already. He realized that that's not who he is anymore. That's not who he wants to be. he's now gaining strength from his family, from his attachment, from his pride as a Saiyan, instead of what Toppo thinks is that he's losing strength from holding on to his ideals. So I thought that was great. And this is during this main part of Toppo powering up this blast. Vegeta finally thinks of his family, which is what I thought he should have done before, thinking of his family instead of just about Kaba when he was powering up his blue form. Here, I almost feel that this is the moment he should have gotten this new form, you know? Feel that it would have been so much more impactful if he was just like in his blue form this whole time, trying to help Goku fight Jiren, but not being able to like tap into more of the power and create this new form. This would have been the point where, you know what, your guys' ideals are not working for me. I need to think about my family, my promise to Kaba, and I need to get this done for them. Boom, new form. But nonetheless, I thought it was pretty awesome. I thought it was a great moment for Vegeta, and he powers up, punches through a Hakai from Toppo. He surrounds his fist with God Ki and just nullifies the crap out of this Hakai and starts getting the beat down on Toppo. This is such a cool sequence. It's so awesome seeing Vegeta finally getting the upper hand on like a major opponent. I don't want to say villain because he's not necessarily a villain, but he's kind of the antagonist, I should say. So Vegeta is just getting through this god of destruction. Like, Vegeta is beyond destruction here. Nullifies the Hakai, and he is just wiping the floor with Toppo at this point. But then he resorts to his final explosion attack. I don't know if that's what it's called, but they call back to the Majin Buu saga, and with Majin Vegeta sacrificing his life to kill Majin Buu. This was also a great moment for Vegeta's character, and also ties into what I was saying before of Vegeta trying to throw everything, all of his ideals out the window for the sake of power, and his character arc in that, tying it together with his character progression here. So really awesome stuff. And the only thing is that I didn't personally think it was necessary to resort to this type of attack, because he was defeating Toppo, like handedly defeating Toppo here. I wish there was like some sort of line to where Vegeta's like, I can't keep up this level of power for very long, I better go to my trump card or something like that. It kind of felt like it was just used for the sole purpose of a callback, I guess you could say, because I didn't think it was entirely necessary. Regardless, this was so freaking cool, man. This blast decimates the freaking stage, eliminating Toppo. Like, Toppo is like unconscious when he's eliminated. He even appears in the bleachers like laying down unconscious. So cool. And everybody's worried that Vegeta's dead, because last time he did this technique, he was dead. But he's progressed far enough to where this attack won't kill him, but it did drain all of his energy, so that might be a problem. But it was so satisfying for Vegeta getting a win on a major antagonist. This is the kind of stuff, these are the kind of moments that I think most of the Universe 7 fighters should have gotten in this tournament. So Vegeta is out of energy after this. So Vegeta being out of energy is probably gonna be an issue, one way or another. But it's good that 17 is okay, which leads into the next episode. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about Jiren for a second. This guy is an asshole. His partner, his Pride Trooper, like, team member, lost a fight to a very powerful guy. He even threw away his ideals. He gave it everything he had, and Jiren's like, how pathetic. Dude, what a douche. And like, even Goku's like, oh man, you went too far with that one. And his response is, so Jiren's like, okay, well, there are now 4 of you and 1 of me. Time to go full power. And he is unbelievably strong. And it's like, wasn't he, like, weren't your attacks not working on him very well before? Like, what's the difference between full power Jiren and Jiren now? Because Jiren now is way stronger than all of you. 17, Goku, and Vegeta are the only ones standing, meaning Frieza is off lying unconscious somewhere, which is what I've been predicting that he would do. He'd be laying unconscious when the tournament ends, winning the tournament for Universe 7. So that's kind of how I think the tournament's gonna end. It'd be kind of weird. I think I would like that. Although I would be equally satisfied if Goku actually got the win over Jiren in this, though at this point I don't know how he could. But speaking of tactics on how they could win, 17 looks like the main protagonist at episode 127. He's probably gonna get eliminated. Now this guy has built up so much credit in this tournament, he deserves a good elimination. And it looks like he's getting it. It looks like he's jumping in to defend Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta is out of energy. He's creating barriers to try to block Jiren. Now we get a couple of shots of like everybody fading to white here from Jiren's attack, and it seems that 17 is jumping in the way to try to protect Goku and Vegeta, to try to block this attack with a barrier, and it's just not gonna work. Like Jiren is way too strong. And who knows, maybe like Jiren's gonna be standing there victorious and Frieza's gonna catch him off guard and whack him off the stage with his tail. So that's it. What do you guys think of episode 126? I thought it was awesome. There was a couple things that I thought could have been better about it. The animation was okay. What do you think is gonna happen in 127 and the end of the tournament? As always, thank you so much for watching. If you wanna help the channel, share the video, that helps the most. But thanks again for watching. Take it easy.